Hi, I'm Joyce Danger. I wanted to share a little bit today about what kind of a person might choose Mary Kay and a little bit about where I was, a little snapshot of my life when I chose Mary Kay as a career. And I'm going to use the word kind of loosely today because for some people Mary Kay is more of just a huge coupon, kind of like when you go to Sam's Club and you get the discount there. And I know sometimes it's more of like an extended hobby, a great way to get your stuff at wholesale and be able to get stuff for your friends and your family and make enough to pay for the stuff that you're getting. Sometimes it's a way to make an extra $100, a week, extra $100 a month, an extra $1,000 a month, an extra $1,000 a week. It could be a six-figure income. It can be anything that you want it to be. So I'll just tell you a little bit about kind of where I was when I started at Mary Kay. I was really busy. I was working a full-time job in real estate and land development along with two part-time jobs, along with taking care of my son who was 6 at the time. And I needed a backup plan. The economy was really weird at that time, and the company that I was working for was having struggles, and I just felt like I needed a plan B just in case something would happen with that job, and I needed a way to make sure that my mortgage payment was covered and that my son would be able to eat. He liked to eat 3 times a day, and I needed to be able to make sure that that was covered. I also had a big car payment. He was in daycare, all that kind of stuff to make sure that I had enough stuff, enough money coming in. I was super busy with all of that stuff, but I really kind of had to ask myself, was I busy doing the right things? And if I continued on the path that I was on, would I get where I wanted to go, or would things just kind of be the same the next year and the next year and the next year after that? And would I get any different results? And it's been said that the definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing and expecting different results. So I knew that something had to change, and I was praying for something different in my life somehow, that I could get out of that situation. And I knew that I wasn't praying for a knight in shining armor to come in and whisk me away and fix it all, so I knew that I needed to do something different myself. I didn't know a lot of people. My family comes from another state, and so when we moved here, we didn't have any family other than I had 2 brothers, and my mom doesn't wear makeup, never did, and so I didn't really have any family members to work with, and I worked in a company that was primarily men, so I didn't have a lot of people to work with in terms of that kind of thing. But funny how it was, I still was worried about what other people would think about, if I were to try something like this. I was worried about what people would think. And, I wasn't in high school anymore, and yet I was still concerned about that. And I don't know why I took myself so seriously that I thought other people really, really cared like they would. But, really, I was the one who had to pay my bills at the end of the day, and I don't know why it made a difference to me what anybody else thought. But Albert Einstein once said, great spirits have always encountered violent oppositions from mediocre minds. And, there are people who just don't understand something that's different. And Mary Kay, it's self-employment, and it's not a traditional 9-to-5 job. And I know my parents never understood it. My dad was a teamster, and my mom worked for a government job. And so to them, you got to get a secure, steady paycheck, and this has never fit into that plan, but they're both very blessed that I have been able to care for them in their later years, because I didn't have that, the confines of a 9-to-5 job, and I've been able to be totally flexible in caring for them as they've needed it. When I started Mary Kay, I was really shy. I was okay to talk to 1 or 2 people, but not in front of a group, definitely not in front of 4 or 5 or anything like that. And I didn't go to parties like Tupperware or anything like that. I didn't do them. I didn't go to them. It was just kind of a fluke that a friend of mine that I worked with was having a Mary Kay thing, and she said that I could bring my son, and so it just sounded like something, kind of a night out, and I didn't have to worry about getting a babysitter. And so, me and my son and the other, I don't know which other ladies were there, but we all brought our kids. I'm sure there was a gazillion kids there, and we had a nice time, and I was introduced to the product and to the Mary Kay lady, and that's kind of where things started. I don't remember if I bought anything. I'm kind of guessing I probably didn't, because I didn't have any money. I was one of those people that by the time you get towards the end of the month, I was out of money, and I lived on float. And for those of you who are younger, you probably don't even heard of float. And back in the olden days, we used to, you'd write a check, and then you'd mail off your bills and that sort of thing, and then you had a certain number of days until the checks cleared the bank and until they got back to your bank and that sort of thing, and then by that time your paycheck came in, and then you'd race it to the bank, and that's kind of how I would live at that time. And they didn't have any automatic deposit or any of that kind of stuff, and definitely would not work in today's world. And poverty isn't a disgrace, but it was really inconvenient, and it was just stressful trying to make sure everything worked out like that. And I didn't like it, and I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck, or not even quite making it paycheck to paycheck, and always being stressed about money. I'm very, very family oriented. At the time when I started, I wanted a better lifestyle for myself and my son. I was tired of having every decision in my life be decided based on money. Could he go out for, be in a sports thing, and it was always based on, if I had any money to pay for whatever the thing was. And I wanted my decisions as a parent to be made based on what I thought was best for him in his future, not best based on how much money I had. I wanted to have a lifestyle that was beyond what I had the money for and had the resources for. And I was looking for something different. 3 years after I started in Mary Kay, I did remarry, and with my husband, I gained 2 beautiful daughters, and then a couple years later, we had a daughter together. So then we ended up having ultimately family of 4 children, and through that, I was able to be an available mom for my kids, to be there, after the school bus came, to be there throughout, all the different phases of the kids' life, and be there, be Girl Scout leader, be the one to do the prom makeovers, and all the kind of, the fun things that that I enjoy about being a mom. And then now I'm a grandmother of 4 little babies, and it's nice to have that flexibility and yet be able to be available for my parents, my aging parents, and care for them as their needs have arise too over the recent years. And this business does provide that total flexibility to be there for your family and yet provide the income to support the needs of the family as well. When I first was starting in Mary Kay, or was thinking about starting in Mary Kay, I didn't run the idea by anybody else. And I had learned as a teenager, if if you ask your parents if you should do something and they say no, then you maybe just shouldn't ask them, so then they can't tell you no. So I guess I was maybe young enough that I still remembered that. So I didn't run the idea by my family or by my friends, because I figured that they would laugh at me and they would think that this was stupid. So, but the person I did run it across is God, and that's just kind of how I'm wired. And so I ran it by God, and He, I remember that conversation, and it's like, seriously, are you really thinking that you would want me to do this? I'd been praying for something to change my situation. I'd prayed a lot for something to change my situation. I wanted somebody to give me a chance. I wanted somebody to see my potential. I wanted somebody to give me an opportunity. But this was not the package that I had been looking for. But the benefits lined up with what I really, really wanted. I wanted something that would allow me my faith first, my family second, and my career third. I wanted unlimited earning potential. I wanted that total flexibility. I'm a hard worker, and I will do what I need to do when I need to do it, but I also want to be able to put my priorities in place too, so that I can decide if my child is sick and I need to be there for him. I was tired of calling in to work sick, because at that time you couldn't call in because your kid was sick and say that my kid is sick, and use one of your sick days for that. That wasn't allowed. You'd had to call in and lie about it, and I wasn't comfortable with that. And so I wanted that flexibility. I wanted the financial freedom that I saw other women in Mary Kay having, that total financial freedom, and that really impressed me. I wanted to not worry about money, to know that I had plenty of money to handle whatever would come in my direction. I want to be paid what I was worth, and not just what somebody else thought the job was worth. I wanted to set my own hours, to be able to work when it worked well for my family and not work when it wasn't good for my family. I was intrigued with the recognition. I didn't think I needed the recognition or anything like that, but I thought it was kind of a cool thing. And who doesn't want to hear it? That girl, you did a great job, that kind of thing. And what could be a better, recognition of doing a great job than throwing a free car in your driveway that, every other year Mary Kay gives us a free car or cash or whatever as a thanks for doing a good job, or they give us, extra things, the perks. It could be, there's diamonds, like, little diamonds like that. And before Mary Kay, I thought, oh, is that gaudy? I would have thought it was disgusting, but, if it's free, if it's free, it's for me. But I just enjoy getting like extra little perks for doing a good job. I just felt that there was a nudge inside of me that said, give this a try and see what you can do with it. And I had been in a bad marriage for 10 years, and I thought, if I could give that man 10 years of my life, I should really give this, give it a year, see what I can do with it. If I like it, stick with it. If I don't like it, I can quit. I've done other things and quit other things before. You think of the different jobs you've had. I was a flight attendant for a minute, and at the time I didn't know I got airsick, so try it, see what I can do with it. So I would encourage you, if you're kind of thinking about it, give it your guts for 1 year and see what happens. So I decided to order my kit. However, I didn't have the money to order my kit, so I put it on my credit card, and then I prayed for the ladies to come, that I needed to have ladies to do makeovers with. Now, I know that God feeds the birds, but he doesn't throw it into the nest. So I knew I needed to do makeovers with the ladies, but I didn't know how to do makeovers. I wore green eyeshadow, because when I was in high school, the green-eyed girls wore green eyeshadows. And so I asked ladies if they would help me with to practice to do makeovers, and I asked them to come to our success events, because that's where they would be doing makeovers, since I didn't know how to do it. And so God gave me ladies to say yes. Not all of them. I had a whole bunch of them that said no. I heard, it broke me out. Every excuse in the book I heard, but I just kept asking ladies until I had some that said yes. And God provided ladies who said yes and brought enough products to pay for that starter kit. So by the time the bill came for the starter kit, I had enough sales to pay for that, and my business was launched. I went to all of the free education that was available to me and learned everything that I could learn. I listened to every training thing. Back then it was little cassette things we'd put in our car and listen to all of that kind of stuff. I'd listen to it over and over and over again until the words became comfortable to me and I could learn what to say. And 9 months after ordering my starter kit, my first Mary Kay car came, and every 2 years since then, I've had another Mary Kay car, and I became a sales director 11 months after starting. And what I found is that what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters in compared to what lies within us, and that God created big things inside of us. We just have to be willing to take the chance on ourselves and not expect other people to take the chance on us, and see what potential, what lies inside of there. I didn't know what Mary Kay would provide for me and for my family when I started in Mary Kay, but I decided it was worth taking a chance on us and see what would happen. What I found is that our mortgage got paid off early, because I have had free transportation for all of these years, that I would use the money that I normally would have used for transportation for a car and use that towards paying off my mortgage, and we're able to pay it off way before the time that normally you would pay off a mortgage, and it has provided personal and financial freedom for myself and for my family, just beyond the wildest dreams that I could have ever imagined. Actually, I'm speaking to you today from our beach house, which is down by the lake, which we live on a house on a lake in town, and if I knew how to work this little camera thing better, I would turn around and show you everything, but as the video things go on, I do more of these things, so you'll see different places that I'll share from. But thank you for joining me this week, and I appreciate it.